All right, guys. Another Homestory Cup cast here. Down in the bottom right-hand side, this is day 2 group stage match. It wasn't cast during the main tournament. Thank you, Wriglinium, for letting me know about this match not being cast. Down in the bottom right in the red, the Protoss player. His name is Zest. And up here in the top left-hand side in the blue, the Terran player. His name is Liquid Taeja. Taeja made a great triumphant return at this tournament. I think there was a great Reddit post that said, hey, for all you new fans of StarCraft, if you don't get why everyone's talking about Taeja being back, check this out. And they linked his Wikipedia results page showing like 3 years and like 20 championships over those couple of years. Like it was in like 2 years. There was like that real period. People always called it the summer of Taeja, where during the summertime tournaments, he would win a tournament like every week. Like he'd just be flying from tournament to tournament, picking up. The prize pools, unfortunately for him, weren't as big back then. A lot of $10,000 checks. He often complained because he never won a GSL. He's like, man, I really want to win one of these big $100,000 or $80,000 tournaments or $60,000 tournaments. He's like, I'm sick of beating the best players in the world to get a $10,000 check every time. He's like, I just want more money. God damn it. He went and did his military service. He's now back. Really happy to have him return. Taeja is like one of these kind of weird interviewers, weird humans. Is just like, yeah, I don't know, I don't really practice. And people are like, oh yeah, sure. And people that live with him are like, no, he never practices. He's like just obscenely talented. Like he would practice so little compared to other pros in the later days of StarCraft 2 while still winning a ton of tournaments. He's just an incredibly talented player. Don't get me wrong. He would have had to put in thousands and thousands of hours to get to as good of a level as he is. But yeah, he's an oddball character. And then he'd get up there and win his 17th DreamHack. They'd pop the champagne glass, the champagne bottle, and he'd do his Taeja clap. This is the Taeja clap. Pretty sure we still have that emote on Base Trade TV. Let's take a look. Yeah. There it is. Taeja clap. Just he would like, they'd be like, congratulations, and he's just standing on the stage and he like claps for himself. Everyone's always awkward when they're getting trophies handed to them. Don't get me wrong, Taeja's awesome, great player. So he's being cheeky, he's hiding his buildings, doing this one base opening. Now the Reapers come in, the Adept's chasing it. Oh no, he's gonna get that killed, man. Oh, Zest actually messed that micro up just a little. Interesting. Actually, you know what? Maybe Taeja purposely knew. He said, look, if I time... Well, that was just a mistake. He could have got out of there. Maybe he was like, look, if I time it out so I get hit just before your shade finishes, it's the same Adept that shades to the location, so it's still got its attack on cooldown. So he says, look, you're not going to be able to attack me straight away. So if I take a hit just as the shade finishes, even though the shade's right on top of me, you're still cooling down your attack. So I'll get out before it throws. He could have just ran away, and it would have been easier, but oh well. Ends up losing that Reaper. Reactor behind it. The factory here builds a Widow Mine, and he's going to go for an expansion. So it's going to be kind of like a faking you out. Zest is like, what are you doing? What's going on? Going robo, going really defensive. Zest is like Neeb and myself. We both play the same style. Showtime and Stats are much more likely to go Stargate versus a one-base opponent because they're so good with those Stargate units. But Zest, Neeb, and I play the same school of robo, where you just get out these much more powerful units, but you're way less flexible with a robo. And you have less scouting. It takes longer for this observer to get across and verify what's up. So what we're seeing from Taeja is he's just like, okay, yeah, we're just going to chill. Like, I'm just poking with the Reaper, creating a lot of threat. The idea of, oh, what's happening? And your opponent doesn't know what's going on. So what is it? It's a tech lab on the starboard. It's probably going to be a Raven. It's a fake medevac. That's cool. And it's a third command center. So Taeja is actually faking a Widow Mine drop. So he's going to poke in and then immediately run away. He's going to show this medevac. He's going to try and see what units there are, see what's up. He might even boost in the main for a scout. Let's see. Does he want to see the tech? He can like boost in and then just turn around and get out. So he's going to come in. Sees the robo. Trying to make him panic a little bit. Sees the Stalker Warp in. Sees the robo bay. Clicks it and then pulls back. Beautiful scout by Taeja. Gets out of there, forces a response while leaving all of his defenses at home. A Raven is coming out. Siege tank is on the way. Now, with this sort of build, especially with that fast third CC, you'd love to snipe the Observer before it sees that. The Raven's about to pop. You got to get it before it sees the CC. You got to get it before it sees the command center. Does not see the command center. Might be able to guess that that's there. I'm not 100% sure. Looks like the Reaper went down on the other side of the map. And that is a dead observer. Might have to drop an auto turret to get it, but no, looks like the Marines should be able to do the job. Good job. Shuts down the observer. Zest immediately responds with the third base. So I think he has an idea that there's no real threat from this. He's like, look, a Raven, a couple of unupgraded Marines. That's not scary. Let's build up. And it's going to be Colossi play from Zest here. Going for range, going for Colossi with that third base, delaying his upgrades in his Twilight a long time in favor of just the splash damage, the meaty units. Where are the extra barracks? Is really my question right now. He's still building tanks and a Viking. That is, of course, a fake Oracle. Widowmine decides to waste its time shooting that. Extra barracks now finally going down. Building a barracks over here in the top right of our screen on that tech lab. And building another barracks here. So it's going to be stim starts, can get shields there eventually. Double engineering bay. We'll be going into that bio follow-up. But, did he build a... okay, I thought there was a third siege tank, but it was actually just the second siege tank. Okay, nothing too crazy. Both players are going to kind of sit on their side of the map and build up. And what's really fascinating for me is how they read the next few minutes. Does one of them commit to a hard timing attack, or do they both just try to go up to the next step? Zest here creating a lot of threat. He knows Stim is miles away. So whilst this army being on the map, if Stim was out, or if there were some cyclones or anything like that, this would be crazy. Even a few Banshees could take this out. But because he knows his opponent is playing a very turtley style, he's like, no, let's just scout, check what's up. Extra barracks, extra gases, tanks, defensive setup, yeah. He's like, this is the most vanilla shit I've ever seen. All right. So in response to that, double Forge goes down. The Twilight starts up Blink. So there's no threat of an early attack. So it doesn't need to go like charge or glaives really fast. Runs forward, snipes the Widowmine. Got the second Colossus out. Third Colossus is on the way. Stalkers in the main. That's 5 Stalkers. They're going to try and focus down the medevac. Oh, that was sloppy from Taeja. Just going to focus down a Stalker and then take out as many probes as he can. Does take down a few probes. It's up to 7-8 workers killed in this game. So not a terrible drop, but if he saved the medevac, it would have been a lot better. Shouldn't really be losing that to non-blink Stalkers. Now, I imagine we'll see Disruptors, but we might just see him go straight into Storm off the back of this. Like, skirmish in the middle. Taeja caught out in the open. And Zest just shaving off units for free. Really, I think, creating a lot of threat for very little. Taeja is up to 5 barracks now. Double upgrades are on the way. His armory is on the way as well. Does break down those rocks. Is still building more siege tanks. Now that's fascinating. Tanks obviously very good versus Colossi Stalker. Very immobile though, the longer the game goes. Not great versus charge lots. And I'm really curious to see if we see charge queued up after that. I think it'll just be a charge style. And swapping into Immortals. So yeah, it looks like, I think now that these gases are saturated, I imagine it's going to be 2-2 and High Templar Archives at the same time. I feel like Zest is like a really methodical player. He likes to line things up. So he's going to say, make a lot of mid-game units, be ready for any push. And yeah, it'll be like 4th base, 2-2 Storm all around the same time. Unless he wants to commit hard to a timing. But with a 4th base going up before a Warp Prism, 100% he's going to go Storm, right? Right? I say that as someone who really doesn't understand the current meta of TVP. And is just kind of learning along with you guys. But I feel like you got to go Storm off this. So, 2-2 should be starting now. He's got the gas for it. Keep scouting with Hallucinations. Remember, guys, Hallucination is only 75 energy now. So I love this constant scouting. He's forgotten to start his 2-2. We've actually got 2-2 started earlier for Taeja. Charge starts, 2-2 starts. 4th base well on the way. Stopping at just 62 probes is Zest, though. This is a pretty low probe count, so he's not playing a super economy style. I think Zest is very much respecting the threat of a mid-game engagement. I think he's going to be chrono boosting probably that charge in the near future as well as the 2-2 consistently. And a second factory on the way? It's a mass tank style here from Taeja. Okay, I mean, that's good. One good way to outrange the Disruptors. And, you know, they're a very powerful defensive unit. It's hard to kill someone who keeps building tanks. The thing is, with the new Tempest playing the way they do, and Zest, I mean, Zest's not a great late game player. He's not like Stats, but anyone can use the new Tempest and just wreck a Terran in the late game. That's my feeling, is the Tempest is a little bit overpowered. It's too easy to get, too easy to replenish if you lose them. They're too mobile, too flexible. They're insanely good, so we're going to have to see exactly what happens. This push now coming forward, there's a lot of tanks. Charge is not done. Charge is not done. I think Taeja's actually got a really nice timing. He's got to get those tanks a little bit further forward, though. No, he's going to get force field. You got to be careful, Taeja. You've got to be careful, mate. It's fucking Hallucinated Phoenix sitting in the main there. These tanks did get a nice volley off or two. 2-2's almost done for both sides. It's still slightly in the lead for Taeja here, despite Chrono Boost. No Storm still, so Zest really just wants to win a mid-game fight. But that fight's going to get worse and worse for him with things like Interference Matrix coming down. Oh my god. Cucks one of those Colossi. Says, I can't believe my wife would sleep with that Terran. What's he got that I don't have? The Raven says, a big fuck-off gun, mate. All you've got is your shitty little lasers. Colossi's like, wee. Double drop's going to split off into the main. That's ambitious. Stalker's going to take that to Dicktown. Zest! Oh! Almost lets that drop in the main. And actually almost does let it get away. Planetary 4th is going up on the 4th base behind this. Taeja's like, come and fight me. Come and fight me. Come and fight me. Zest is going to have to give up this base. He's thinking maybe about taking the gold in the top right. That's what I would do. This base is, it's nice, but it's not the most important. He's got plasma shields and +3 armor on the way. Oh, thinking about just throwing down the Interference Matrix. He goes in. He's just going to stim in and engage this army. This is a bit YOLO from Taeja. That was a psychotic maneuver from the Terran player. He realized that so many Zealots with such good armor upgrades, he just wasn't making an impact. The tanks focus via the Colossi. They do a disappearing act. There's a lot of Immortals in there. The Stalker's coming forward, but that might just be too many siege tanks. Oh, both armies getting so small. A couple of Zealots coming in. The Immortal does get focused down, but it looks like this army will get cleaned up, and Zest barely hangs on here. Taeja, though, he's got 3-3 on the way. Actually, no, he still maintains position. I mean, at the end of that, there's no Storm, there's no Colossi, there's no splash damage. As Taeja, you've just got to refill your army. He's only now starting 3 more barracks, and his Marine and Marauder count needs to grow. In small numbers, Zealot Stalker will do okay. Once you get to a gigantic bio army, that's where things turn around. Now, 3 sentries just warped in. What? Sentries? 3 of them. Fascinating. Looking like he might want to use some force fields. Definitely wants Guardian Shield, but a bit surprising to spend so much gas at this point. I guess it's because he's got 2k in the bank. And I definitely do think he kind of delayed that Templar Archives way further than he should have. Even just making Archons would be amazing right now. Bio here posturing around. I like the way Taeja's doing this very non-committally. He saw Stalkers on the north, so he's like, oh, okay. You can't punish this. Let's just go forward and poke around. Waste some energy. The Stalker's looking for a bit of an intercept. Not going to get a 5th base on location. Ballsy maneuvers here from Taeja. Still building tanks 2 at a time, so it's just mass bio tank. So peculiar to see this style into the meta. I mean, I really feel like one of the best ways to punish a player who plays like this is to counterattack, cut off reinforcements, and use your mobility. But Zest kind of let himself get pinned at this base, and he's kind of taken the engagements on Taeja's terms. I don't think that's the goal. I don't think it should ever be the goal against a siege tank Terran. You've got to abuse his immobility. Tried to micro that Ready Point Marauder back, but it did get focused down. Great Stalker micro from Zest. Zest is an absolute god of using Stalkers. He's looking for an angle, and this is what you got to do. Create threat. He's got a lot of Archons, +2 shields, as well as +3 weapons on the way. The upgrades are getting insane, but Zest is not going to be able to break him offensively. Not if Taeja keeps track of the army, and he indeed should be getting his army up here in time. With mass repair, there's no way you take that planetary out. I mean, that's a crazy maneuver. He's going for it. Tries to force field back the bio. The SCVs are repairing, though. And Taeja throws the game with one glorious swoop. An absolutely crazy maneuver. He's going to get punished for it so hard. That just made, yeah, that was crazy. I mean, he wasn't in a fantastic position by any means, and I get he wanted to slow Taeja down, but Zest here, you know, definitely looking like he's not comfortable going to late game. And I mean, a map like this, and just generally the strength of Tempest, I'm so surprised to not see Tempest coming out. I think they're such a good unit, man. I know he didn't open Stargate. I know it's harder to get up there, but hot damn, he still isn't making Storm. He's got the money for it, and he's just like, nah, fuck Psystorm. Oh, I don't know, dude. Some ranged splash damage would just work wonders in this game. You can't be letting these tanks move forward. By throwing his army away, Zest has allowed Taeja to move forward and once again pick a fight on his terms. Whereas if this army was waiting in the open, ready to ambush it, he would have been good, but he threw his army away on Taeja's defensive positioning. Did not work out in his favor. Taeja cuts off the flank. Observers are perving. I mean, you can perv as much as you want. I don't think it's going to help you. The tanks here just abusing this gigantic ledge. This terrain works wonders for Terran. I think siege tanks are really good on this map especially. Those medevacs need to be microed back, Taeja. Taeja did not manually micro the medevacs there, and they did get blasted. But guess what? The entire Protoss army disappears, and that's going to be that. Zest, a little bit too YOLO attacking that planetary. He's had great upgrades. He's playing a very meaty, overwhelming gateway style. Did not overwhelm though. Taeja got away with a very nice 3cc opening and was able to close that one out in a nice, slow, calculated siege tank game. GG, well played. Really nicely done. Oh, everyone forgets Guardian Shield, Loonstra. It's not just you, dude. We all forget. We all forget Guardian Shield, my friend. Oh, the number of times I'm like, I wonder if Guardian Shield would have changed that late game fight. It probably would have. But I'm like, I'm not going to remember it. Screw that, man. All right, all right, all right. Down here in the bottom left-hand side, taking a hard game one loss. The Beast, the Red Protoss. His name is Zest. You can never sleep on Taeja, can you? I mean, I don't think Zest was sleeping on him, but definitely got punched in the face a little in that game. Up here in the top right, in the blue, the Terran. It's Taeja. Yeah, I YOLO into Terran sometimes as well, EMC too. It's a bad habit. So it looks like, once again, Taeja's going to stick to this kind of hidden barracks proxy sort of sneaky style of play. Good way to do it. There's a reason why Taeja was a god in 2012. Indeed, indeed. Cyril seemed like he was struggling a bit with the patch, says Jeremy. Absolutely. I mean, it changed things up. The Terrans did so well. The Terrans were doing really well. Most of the other players were struggling, especially ZVT. They were kind of struggling, right? So it's fascinating to see Cyril still just closing out tournaments and punching faces and smashing it. Taeja versus LGIM. Team Taeja versus LGIM at IPL was the best team event ever. Taeja did that too many times, and there was like team events, and he'd just all kill an entire team, and everyone's like, well, that's it, guys. He just killed everyone. All kill format. Yep. So Taeja did just return from mandatory military service chat. Indeed, he did. Ooh, very offensive factory this time, gang. Zest, I mean, he played a really safe robo that last game, and I think he ended up in a fine position, but this time might be some more dedicated aggression coming down. So a little tip, guys, I personally don't like the pylon out there. I like to put it back here so that it's harder to focus down, but if you put it here, you can put your shield batteries really far forward and really like kill them before they even get to your ramp and get healing. And that's really nice because shield batteries there are much better for slowing down any sort of tank push or anything like that. So it could be really nice. Good focus fire here. Does take down one probe. No Zealot here from Zest. A lot of people will build a Zealot. I'm actually really surprised he did not build a Zealot. Normally you'd get a Zealot to go counterattack and put a pylon there, like SOS does. And Scarlet does the same thing. And or just get a Zealot to slow down that Reaper. But it got 2 probe kills. It's a really nice start for Taeja. He's going to a starport and a tech lab on the factory. So it is going to be a 1-1-1. This is an all-in attack. He even built a reactor on the barracks. And that's huge. So basically the 1-1-1, an old school build. You get 1 Cyclone, you keep building Marines, and then you just make siege tanks and a Liberator. Maybe a single medevac if you want, but you just start building bunkers down here. Probably going to send a few SCVs across. You just leapfrog siege tanks and Liberators forward. And this robo is not that fast. The Zest here is kind of playing as if it's the previous game where it's just an economy-focused follow-up. And it's not. It really is not. And the thing is, Stargate stops just pure Cyclone rushes, right? Because you can just pick them up with Phoenix. But when you add like 7 or 8 Marines, they can start focus firing Phoenix down. And that's why Phoenix does not stop this push unless you are very, very good at making sure you get rid of the important units as early as possible, cut off reinforcements, and do a whole lot of fancy advanced shit. So Taeja goes for a poke there. Is like, let's see if we can pick off a unit. Nope, too much stuff at the front. There's 3 gateways here, but Zest needed to cut probes about 3 or 4 probes ago if he wanted to have any chance of holding this. He's building an Observer and a Sentry. These are not the units you want right now. I love the way he's using the grass, though. That's getting me a little bit aroused. And he's building more barracks on the front. Yeah, Taeja's going as all in can be. He's really biding his time. This is the one thing, my first few times attempting this post-patch, I kept getting excited and trying to attack with my first Cyclone and force the issue on my first Cyclone and tank. But you just wait for Marines, and more Marines, and more Marines, and you go, you know what? A Cyclone, a tank, a pack of Marines, a medevac. Tank there, Liberator's queued up. He's supply blocked. Good to see I'm not the only one who gets supply block doing a 1-1-1. And there we go. The Cyclone actually does have its lock-on on autocast, so even a godly player like Taeja does use the noob method of microing. He's got to pick up the Cyclone, does pick it up at the last second there, but the Marines forcing their way in because he's like, wait, I just have too many units. So this is a really good thing. If you sense they don't have enough units, you just force your way in because that means they've got more probes. It means they've got more units building behind it. So you don't want to give them the time. Now, if he had so many stalkers and shit, you'd be like, whoa, he's got plenty of units. He's cut probes real early. He knew what was happening. He's played super safe. And then you've really got to make sure you just take it very slow, build bunkers and that sort of stuff. But Taeja here just taking Zest to Dicktown, one thrust at a time. And Zest will capitulate. GG, well played.